We did our Ocean Passport Program, which was a shark tooth lab and squid dissection. What did your students like most about the program?
They were treated as scientists. I think it was the first time that they felt so appreciated by people that they didn't know. They were very motivated. They enjoyed it tremendously. I don't think they had ever really had a shark's tooth in their hand, or they had ever behaved as a scientist. It was an eye-opening experience. They were all excited afterwards and they would talk about it. And I think it was a very positive experience for them. It let them see how science is so interesting and so fun. It's not just the book, it's reality. And they got their hands in there. So it was a beautiful experience. They were very happy.
So was there any particular child that you remember being impacted by the program?
Yes, we have a student, his name is Lázaro, and he placed they got a necklace, they made a necklace with the tooth, and he was like, oh, Ms. Lopez, now I can, you know what, I'm thinking about becoming a marine biologist, because they talked about that in the class. The presenters were very professional and they were kind, and they were very funny, and so that made my kids feel really comfortable, and they felt that they could talk about it. And this particular boy was like, no, I want to learn about fish and I want to do this. And so it comes to my mind how motivated he was and how curious he was after that experience.
So you think he would possibly go on to maybe study a science one day or become, something in the STEM field?
Oh, he kept on, that it didn't just happen that day. It was something that really touched him. And even afterwards, he would ask me about it, and we would talk about, about what it is to be a marine biologist, what it is to work with fish, what fish are, what mammals live in the ocean. So that opened up a door, not only for him. There were other kids that also, some of them were defending sharks. All of a sudden, sharks weren't evil; they were necessary, and I love that shift where they were respectful with what with our resources. It's not an easy thing to stand in front of a group of children, especially fifth graders that are they feel like they're already in high school. And keep their attention and keep them motivated and have them work in groups and not lose control of the group. They were very kind. They were very funny. They used humor to make sure that the kids were involved, and that showed a lot of professionalism. I was just standing behind the scenes. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to tell the kids, okay, pay attention or do this. The kids were so interested.
We did our Ocean Passport Program, which was a shark tooth lab and squid dissection. What did your students like most about the program?
I remember specifically what they loved the most was when they got to poke at the ink sac and watch it explode and get ink all over the place. Oh my gosh, they loved it, because I feel like they love anything that's even more messy than usual. And they surprisingly, even though the smell was super funky, we did it in the library this past year. Even though it was trapped in there, the fishy kind of smells, oh my gosh, they loved it because it was the full experience. But definitely the ink sac, and they would just poke it, and then on the tray they'd try and write something with it. And they talked about this kind of ink is different from an ink in a pen, but they loved that. And then when they also got to cut things open, that was fun. Not so much fun for me because I get grossed out, but they loved it.
Is there anything else that stood out to you or felt impactful about the program?
I think in general, all of it was just awesome. So the way we kind of did it last year is we were able to get all of our second grade and third grade classes to go out. Luckily, we're a pretty small school, so we were able to involve so many students across the board that I think just being able to reach that many students was awesome. And even this was the second year that you guys had come out. So I had second graders who did the project who had done the activity 2 years ago. And then last year when they would like pass me in the hallway, they were like, are we gonna do that activity again this year? Is my class gonna get picked to go and like see the squid and get like the shark tooth necklace? And just how much that they remember, and they remember like little details of the activity, like facts of things that even I didn't remember, and I was like, what? But then that kind of shows you like it made an impact, because when they remember things like that so much time later, you know that they loved it and they really enjoyed their experience. And I feel like that's what school's all about. If we can make them love what they're doing here, it makes such a difference. One of my boy students came to my mind right away. I just won't say his name, but I'll never forget it. He was obsessed with just any kind of animals, and every day he'd come in and like he always just knew like random facts about animals, and I was always like, how do you know all these things? And then one day he's like, well, I like to read encyclopedias for fun. I was like, okay. So when we were actually doing the dissection, I know that like the facilitators would like say like some sort of fact, things I didn't even know, and he'd be like, I actually read that in my book the other day. And I was like, oh, okay. And he just loved it, because we don't get this experience as often, you know. Usually what we're doing in class is textbooks and videos, and we try to integrate those things as much as possible, but it kind of goes back to the hands-on. Like he loved getting to just like see the squid and learn about the squid and poke the squid and the heart and the this, and oh my gosh, he just had a blast. And he's also one of those students that sometimes can be kind of tough to get to. And just seeing how engaged he was, like how much he enjoyed that activity was awesome.